part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Now available on Blu-ray and DVD.
I am Iron Man. Yeah, I can fly.
I just said, wow, man, what a cool suit, what a great crew, what a blast.
We wanted to have more fun and have more action and really deliver the Hulk that we thought audiences wanted to see.
It's good to be back.
As soon as I heard that there was a possible part, I was desperate to be a part of it.
I want one.
No.
I feel incredibly excited to be sort of part of it.
I thought it was such an extraordinary project.
Please make it a challenge for me.
Don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
He's everything that I wish I could be as a man. You know, he's good for the sake of good.
What made you so special?
Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
What we're doing here is completely unprecedented. Marvel is taking the characters and bringing them all together in a team franchise movie experience, which really has never been done before.
And for the first time ever, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 1, Avengers Assembled Limited Edition Collection. Available now at participating retailers and at AvengersAssembled.com.
Welcome to a very special presentation of And I Quote Channel. I am your host, Ryan, of that very same channel. And this is where we talk about, discuss, and we rank our top 5 favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies here on this program. Don't forget to like and share this with your friends. If you're joining us live on the replay, thank you for doing that. And if you have any picks, what would you put in your top 5 favorite MCU movies of all time? Drop it like it's hot in the comments, in the chat. We would love to hear from you as we go throughout the course of this show. I am not alone in journeying back to this entire crazy, multiverse, whatever you want to call it, cinematic universe, rather. Let's just call it a cinematic universe to keep things plain and simple. Please welcome, join us from, certainly a land where some of the Avengers are hanging out right now in the theme parks somewhere down there in the great state of Florida, also known as the Sunshine State. Chris from Homebrew Comics is here with us. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. How are you? Sorry, wrong fandom. But anyway, it's great to see you nonetheless. Chris, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule when you're hanging out with the Avengers and everybody else in those wonderful, wonderful theme parks in the great state of Florida. Also joining us is a good friend of ours. He puts together the overlays, the backgrounds, the thumbnails. Without him, our channel would not be what it is today. Please welcome the Dutch Star Wars guy. No, Marvel guy. Case is here. Hello, Case. You're the Marvel guy tonight. For just 1 minute, you're going to be the Marvel guy. So how are you?
Yes, indeed. For tonight, we're talking Marvel. I got the shirt on, of course.
Yes, you do.
I'm excited to talk about this. We have been talking about this for a while, about doing this list. Took a while, but here we are.
It did take a minute. It took a minute, but we are here, and we want to give you just a little small programming note here. The gentleman who came up originally with this idea, best-selling writer Ken LaSalle, was supposed to be with us this week. Unfortunately, he is unwell. He's not feeling so good, but we wish him all the best. Ken, we love you. We miss you. Thank you for pitching this idea for us for the channel. We appreciate you. And a little bit later on, I do have a note here that I will share with everybody. Ken couldn't be here with us physically, but he does have a top 5 that I would like to share with all of you, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. With that being said, Chris, you've been hanging out with some of the people at Field, also known as Hydra, or whatever down there in the great state of Florida. So I'm just curious, if you have a top 5 list of favorite MCU movies, what would be on that list? What do you got?
So I actually put some thought into this one because my list is pretty long about favorite movies. First has got to be Iron Man 1. It really set the stage. And then Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Doctor Strange, and Guardians 3, which was Ragnarok or Guardians 3. And I don't consider Deadpool or Spider-Man part of the main MCU for me because they're properties from other areas. But that was Guardians 3 edged out Ragnarok just by a little bit for me.
Okay. Good picks. I haven't seen one or two of those movies I've yet to see, but most of them I have seen, so that's good. At least we can agree on that front. Sorry. A little behind the 8 ball with a few of them. But great picks, man. I dig it. A lot of people are Guardians fans out there. I unfortunately am in the minority who is not a Guardians fan. But I'm just look. I like them in ensemble pieces, but I don't like them in their own solo movies. I'm sorry, that's just me. That's just me. I know I'm in the minority.
Did you
I'm
like
sorry,
the
Marvel.
comics?
Well, here's the thing. I've never read it. I didn't even know who the Guardians were until the movie came out. I had no idea who they were.
They actually this iteration of the Guardians didn't exist until they decided they were going to make that movie.
Really?
Yeah. So if you've watched the movies, the team that Sylvester Stallone is part of, that's actually the original Guardians of the Galaxy from the comic books.
Wow.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, when I first saw, because growing up, I loved the Guardians comic books, and that whole team is very different in the comics than it was in those movies. So if anybody's read those comics, they can back me up on that. But as a fan of Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt, had to go see it, and I went in with, I was kind of open-minded because the cast, it was a solid cast. And I remember I had flown to Delaware for a vacation with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and I didn't even want to go on the vacation. Her and I were on the outs, and I was like, well, the only way I'll go is because Guardians came out that week. I said, I'm going to see Guardians the day of. I don't care if I'm going with you or by myself. And I went, and then I immediately watched it again. So I really enjoyed it. And this iteration, I went back and read some of the comic books and stuff like that. And to me, they're still not the true Guardians, but and aside from movie 2, I wasn't a big fan of that one. But the first and third movies are probably some of my favorite actual Marvel movies.
Wow. Okay, I was not aware of this when it comes to the comic book part, because I only became a comic book fan less than a decade ago, and clearly there's a billion things I don't know about Marvel.
Oh, you got some catching up to do.
I think it's a plethora. I think it's a lot. I'm sorry. I got to visit my LCS more often because they have sales literally every weekend, and everyone I think out there should, if you get a chance, if you're watching or listening to this right now, should support your LCS. When you do have an opportunity to do so, because it's a lot of fun. You sometimes you can find unexpected treasures at comic book stores. I found that out over the years that I've been going myself, Chris. I'm not going to lie about that. But okay, all right. I have to go back and do some digging on these Guardians of the Galaxy case. I don't know about you, but all
You
right.
can buy collected editions of them now.
Well, that's good, because otherwise I don't feel like buying 50,000 single issue comics, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wouldn't do it for me. Case, any reaction to this top 5 list that was just revealed here?
I actually think it's a really solid list. I might have some similarities with my top 5. And Chris and I, you can talk, because the first Guardians, spoiler alert, it's in my top 5. The third Guardians, I also really like. It's in my top 15. And the second Guardians, I was not a big fan of that one.
Me either.
I thought essentially, with Guardians 1, that the comedy was really funny. There were a couple of excellent jokes in that. And in the second one, they seem to kind of double down on some of it. And also they seem to just repeat certain jokes to the point where it's like, yes, we get it. Get over it. That was a big issue that I had with the second Guardians.
I felt they gave the actors too much leeway with some of that stuff. And because even with Drax, like, they just went overkill on something. Now there was like the one line from there. He's like, "Well, yeah, you're ugly, but you're beautiful," kind of thing. Like that. It had its, like, the moments in that movie were good, but the overall movie just didn't hit the marks the first one hit.
Actually, one of the things that I'm remembering now, because I don't watch Guardians 2 a lot, but essentially every single time that Guardians 2 would have like a serious dramatic moment between characters and you're into it, they instantly undercut it with a joke. And it's like, why do you do that now?
Yeah. No, 100%.
I think it's part of the Marvel formula, right? Take things seriously for 1 minute and then just split it into a comedy the next.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a formula, and it seems to have been working for them, right? Haven't most of their films made $750 to $1 billion at this point? Jeez.
With inflation?
Adjusted for, I mean, if you want to adjust it for inflation, excuse me, which is a term that we use a lot when it comes to box office totals. We're just having a lot lately. Good Lord. I mean, too many numbers, man. But no, that's all right. All right. I may have to go back and revisit the Guardians. Who knows? I may have to go back and revisit this, especially 1 and 3, because I saw 1 when it was in theaters. I was there for it 2014, but after that, I lost it. For Guardians, anyway. I'm sorry. I'll have to revisit it at some point. But solid list, man. Solid list. So, Case, you kind of revealed one of them, I think, is in your list, right? I mean, it may or may not be in the top 5. What the heck do I know about Marvel? But if you have a top 5 list, Case, you want to wrangle this one off?
Well, I mean, there's also another one that I think is pretty obvious if you just look at me. But other than that, this was a tough list. There are a couple of movies that I really want to include in my top 5, but I simply just can't because the 5 that I have, I'm very happy with, and it's very difficult to get into that top 5 because yeah, this is one of the most successful franchises for a reason. Most of the movies are very good, and I'm very happy that they have been able to consistently make good movies. Of course, we all know after Endgame, it has not been as consistently good, but I do still think that they can still make a good movie because, the last movie that they made, Thunderbolts, I enjoyed it. And a lot of people seem to enjoy it. But my number 5 is a movie that I think a lot of people were not expecting to be as good as it was, which is Thor Ragnarok. The first 2 Thor movies are, like a lot of people are not the biggest fan of the first 2 Thor movies. I like the first one. The second one is bottom 5 material. But then Ragnarok was such a refreshing movie. Of course, different director with Taika Waititi. He clearly knew what to do with it. And I think it, Ragnarok does a good job at balancing comedy and dramatic moments because it does have a very dramatic thing going on with the destruction of Asgard, and that happens at the end, holy cow. But still, they managed to make it a good, fun, lighthearted movie overall with some dramatic undertones, and I think the balance is done really well. So that's Ragnarok. Number 4, Chris mentioned this one, Iron Man, the very first one that started it back in 2008. I remember, the funny thing is the first MCU movie that I saw was Iron Man 2. I was like, oh, this is a cool movie. And then I saw the first one and I was just blown away. It is so awesome. And it might be, early days MCU, definitely not, a shared universe as we have now, but I think that kind of helps it in terms of how grounded it is, how it maintained a simple story, and it just did a great job at setting up a character that at the time was not very well known, even if you had read the comics. But Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect casting. He's probably my favorite Marvel character, as you can see by the shirt. So yeah, no, that was awesome. My number 3 is Captain America: Civil War. A lot of people will say Winter Soldier, but my personal issue with Winter Soldier is the action at times is a bit shaky cam, and I don't really love that. And they really stepped it up when they made Civil War, when they hired the people who made John Wick. And the action, you can see it. It's so much better. And there are so many amazing action sequences from the very beginning to the very end. A lot of people credit the airport scene. The airport scene is maybe not even in the top 3 best fights in that entire movie. I think probably the best one is the end fight between Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man. It's very emotional. The line where he's like, I don't care, he killed my mom. It kills me. It's like, oh my God. The tension is ramped up so well throughout the movie between Cap and Iron Man to that point that I'm like, yeah, that's perfect execution. I will say, people who have read the comics are going to probably be mad at me because the movie is nothing like the comics. But then again, I haven't read it, so I don't know. Anyway, number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris already mentioned it. This was a surprise and a half if I ever saw it. No one knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were because the comics were not really that popular. Chris mentioned that, the comics are not the best known. And if you've read them, I mean, the Guardians are very different from what they are. I think James Gunn knew what to do, and what I found surprising is he was able to introduce us to a completely new set of characters because at the time this movie was completely disconnected from the MCU. There was not a whole lot really tying it together with the exception of the Infinity Stones, and still he was able to integrate a couple of small things and still making sure that it's its own movie, focusing on these characters, which we now love. And my number one, well, it's in the poster behind me, Avengers Infinity War, the ultimate culmination of what they've been building for, at that point, it was 10 years. For 10 years, they were building up to the ultimate Avengers movie. Well, of course, they split it into two parts, and between the two, I prefer Infinity War. I know a lot of people like Endgame. I like a lot of elements of Endgame. I don't love the entire movie as much as Infinity War. I think in terms of Infinity War, every time I watch it, like, it's a 2.5 hour movie, and I feel it flies by. I feel everything in that movie needs to be in there. It's essential to the plot, and I mean, the snap is still one of the most insane scenes that they've ever done, to end the movie with the snap and now wait a year for the next one. That was insane. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Wow. Okay. It's a solid list. Once again, solid list. I would venture to say, once again, in the minority. You guys can have your Guardians fun, but cool. Well, I dig it. It's fine. Rocket Raccoon jumping on people's shoulders, being like, "Oh yeah," and just cocking that gun ready.
Or was it the arm or the leg scene? Like, there was that. Just going into some of his, the Iron Man 1, I think should be on everyone's list, just because it's a quintessential movie.
Set the precedent.
And it was well done, but it also made the Marvel formula. To introduce a character, you have the main character, and then his foil is an exact replica of him, but bad. They've used that, except for Guardians. Guardians is the first one that didn't do that. And that was another reason why I did like Guardians, was because it didn't fit their constant formula. Because like even Captain America, Red Skull is just another super soldier gone wrong. I won't go into Black Panther. Black Panther's a great movie, but it's Lion King in live action. People can hate on me in the comments all they want. It has a tree scene and it has a dad scene and the same thing. Doctor Strange, to me, I think was a really good film that people kind of overlook, to be honest with you, because it again went against the whole formula they had put up. And I just love that repeating scene where he wins by being annoying. That was really fun for me. Yep.
I've come to bargain.
It's such a me move. And if you have kids, it's like, where that's coming from.
Yep.
And I argue with this one, like Winter Soldier to me is still one of the better Captain America movies. But that end scene where you get to see Bucky and everything, just, I don't know. There was a lot to that one too. But Iron Man 1 still, I think, should take the cake for everybody, because that desert scene where he comes out in the old school armor was just so awesome.
Good score of music was playing too, right?
Oh,
was it an average score, or was there AC/DC playing during that scene? I can't remember.
Pretty sure there was AC/DC.
Both.
It was both? Okay, because I haven't seen Iron Man 1 in a while, so I wasn't sure if it was like a straight up like score, or whether there was actual like rock music being played.
There was a lot of rock music in it.
It was.
Yeah.
I think I remember this.
Oh, they include a lot of AC/DC in the Iron Man movies because he's a fan of the band. But I do think the first Iron Man has a pretty good musical score made by a composer of Game of Thrones, Ramin Djawadi.
Oh, that's who did it. All right. Because I knew it wasn't Silvestri, but that's cool.
We talked about Ragnarok, and Ragnarok, it was teetering with me. I'll be honest with you. The reason I edge out Ragnarok isn't because I didn't enjoy the film. It's because of what it did to Thor moving forward for me. I think, Thor has never been a very interesting character in the comics. He's supposed to be stoic, and it took that stoicness away from him, which was fine. Ragnarok was a great film, and I will forever remember, we're friends from work. I mean, amazing line. But moving forward, it set it up for what we got in the fourth movie, which was just atrocious. I couldn't make it 15 minutes past that film.
Love and Thunder, I think it was.
I could not. I literally shut it off after 15 minutes.
Oh wow!
I just walked right out of it. Was like, no, I can't do it. The pacing was terrible. The jokes were terrible. Like, it just. And I don't think I was the only one that thought that either. I could, but that's the only reason that Ragnarok got edged out for me was because what it did moving forward. Like I couldn't enjoy it as like the character as much. I don't know if you know this, but they actually had filmed some stuff for Endgame or
Infinity War.
Infinity War, and Chris Hemsworth was like, "Well, we just changed the character, and they had to like redo a bunch of stuff."
Really?
So, yeah, like they brought that. They had to bring that version of because you couldn't have funny Thor and then go back into serious Thor. And I would have loved for them to merge them a little bit more, because Thor, he's a god, and he did have some comedic notes. His comedic notes were that he's literally not from Earth, like, and he throws the glass on the ground, like stuff like that. Like to me, that was funny. Like we didn't have to go so far funny, but hopefully Taika doesn't come back for the next one. That's all I'm saying. He had one good one. His other one just was.
I get the feeling that Taika's personal life really interfered with the making of Love and Thunder, and that's why Love and Thunder was just not as good because he couldn't put as much time and effort into it because he had personal drama going on. So I kind of understand why it went wrong, but yeah, I agree. It's probably not the best to have a mentally unstable director work on your movie that is supposed to make you $1 billion. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. Was it? I mean, not to get into too many specifics because I don't know what happened between Taika and his family, but was it kind of similar to what happened with Spielberg and Lucas with their divorces when they were making Temple of Doom?
Well, yeah,
he was
having marital issues.
Okay,
I don't really know the extent of it. I just know that was hampering it essentially.
Understandable. Okay, all right. Temple of Doom.
You had such good music and so much denim, and I expected a great movie, but hopefully they can fix that with the fifth because, like you said, Thunderbolts. Really, I enjoyed Thunderbolts.
Was a successful film for them, I believe.
I'm not sure. If
actually,
did it lose money? Did it lose?
No, box office wise, it's not the best. I mean, I think it broke even.
Broke even? Well, if it broke even, I mean that's something, right? Can someone at the studio hang their hat on that one?
Considering the economy,
how terrible it is because it's real bad.
No one's going to the movie theaters. Spend $15 and you got $30 bucket of popcorn and.
Yeah. The movie broke even, but that's about it, and that's not what you're going for.
That's not good. I guess not good for the studio. I guess I don't know.
It'll probably do well on streaming.
Maybe I don't know because did Brave New World just hit streaming like within the last week or two? I believe.
Yeah, but Brave New World wasn't nearly as good.
No, it wasn't. But I'm just saying, like as far as the streaming circuit goes, it has entered streaming. Brave New World has. So if anyone's interested, it's there. It's hashtag not sponsor of the show.
It does seem like a bit of a panicky move. Like, oh, it didn't do too well in theaters. Let's quickly drop it on streaming. See if it does well there.
Yeah,
we'll get some money back, right? No, probably not. But anyway, once again, not a sponsor of any of these shows. But if they want to give us a call. But anyway, this is top 5 favorite MCU movies ranked on And I Quote. Do not forget to like and share. If you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you. If you have any thoughts or questions, or if you have a top 5 list that you would like to share with us here on the panel or in the chat room, let us know in the comments of the chat. Love to hear from you. Great list by both Case and Chris here, no doubt about it. And later on, like I said, we'll share Ken LaSalle's top 5 list of MCU movies that he enjoys the most. For me, mine's not going to be too much of a surprise to this audience, much less this panel, if you've known me for any period of time. But it may shock a few of you in the chat. I don't know. But my number one has to be because I did a rewatch of it not too long ago, and it still holds up for me. Both of you, I think, mentioned it in passing at one point during the course of this program. Winter Soldier is my number one. It's so good. It's so gritty. It has elements of levity, which I don't mind in any movie whatsoever, but don't throw so much comedy into it. This movie has a perfect blend of taking things very, very seriously, but also when you need a moment of levity, it throws it in there for good measure, whether it's Black Widow and Captain America in the Apple Store, or it's, some of the stuff going on with Falcon, and Falcon's like, don't look at me. I can't run as fast as he does. I just do what he does, only slower or whatever, just stuff like that. So on your left, Chris, on your left. So those things, like those little things work. And then Black Widow pulls up in this like $500,000 car and says, excuse me, I'm looking for a fossil. I'm like, what? You're referring to Cap? Get out of here. But it's great. It's dark. It's great. And by the way, they were inspired by movies like 3 Days of the Condor, and you get Robert freaking Redford in the movie. So that's just brilliant casting, in my opinion.
That was another villain who was not the same as the hero.
Right. It's just, and some of the things that are uttered in the marketing campaign leading up to the release of the movie, right? Winter Soldier says, Captain, sometimes to build a better world, sometimes means tearing the old one down. And that makes enemies. That is some good stuff, man. So the writing's great, the acting's great, the action, even though some of it is a bit of shaky cam and it could be a bit difficult to follow, doesn't bother me one iota, not one bit. I am in from beginning to end, whether he's fighting on the deck of a ship or he's hanging Sitwell off the.
He jumps out of the helicopter in the beginning, like just sets the tone for the whole movie.
Yeah, was he wearing a parachute? No,
he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. No,
he had a shield.
He wasn't. All he has is a shield, a little itty bitty little shield. That's all he's got. So it's great. It's dark and gritty. It's what I want in a comic book movie. It's what I want in a comic based TV series. Hello, Daredevil. So it just works. So Winter Soldier is my number one. Number two, actually, I did a rewatch of this because I haven't seen it in so long, but I wanted to go back and see if it's any better than the last time I saw it. And it actually is. The more I thought about it when the movie, during the course of the film, and then when it was over. I don't mean to make this sound like a bit of a theme here, but Civil War.
Hey.
Civil War is, sure, people can say it's Avengers 2.5. Sure, they can say the best thing about it is the airport scene. Yeah, sure. But it's still a really good movie. And it's a really good Cap movie at the end of the day. It's called Captain America for a reason. It focuses mostly on him, but yes, a lot of the other characters are thrown in there for good measure. Yes, don't get me wrong. They're thrown into a blender. But it works. And then you get the introduction of a brand new iteration of Spidey. And you get the introduction to Black Panther. And you would think that, oh no, if they put these two characters in, they're going to overshadow the whole plot of the whole movie, right? No, they don't. They're peppered in just when you need them, and they don't take away from Cap's moments in the sun, or they don't take away from Team Iron Man's moments in the sun. You see what I mean? So it works. I think in a lot of movies, you have to have a balancing act. And I think this one does a really good job of it. So I'm going with Civil War on this one as my number two. And then three... Yeah, this is going to sound like a team-up thing here. I do have an Avengers movie, but let me tell you this. It's not Age of Ultron, fellas. No. Age of Ultron. Bad day at the office. But it is the OG. It's the 2012 Avengers. I think it's very rewatchable, very entertaining. Some of the best one-liners uttered in any comic book movie ever. When they're hemming and hawing in the, the R&D lab between Banner and Stark, and everyone's like together, and then Cap finds out that, Fury's he's stockpiling weapons that can take down the Tesseract, but in a bad way. It's good stuff. You get stuff like that in the comic books, yes. But when you see it in live action, it just makes it that much sweeter. You see what I mean? And then the whole, the camera circling around all six of them when they're all gathered together, and you have the Silvestri score just oozing from beginning, from start to finish in that sequence. And then you get the audience. When you're in an audience in a theater with 300 people screaming their heads off, it's a pretty good experience. Am I right? It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Even when I'm sitting at home watching this by myself, it's still good. And Silvestri kills it. Silvestri gave us Back to the Future, Case, and he does it again with Avengers. It's insane. But yeah, hats off. Silvestri, you're the man. So Avengers is number 3. Number 4, Iron Man. If it weren't for Iron Man, none of this would have been possible, right? If it weren't for the man who is so money. He's so money, Chris. He just doesn't even know it. John freaking Favreau, okay?
I love Favreau. Yeah.
Favreau is so money. He's the big winner tonight. You're a big winner, Mikey. You're the big winner more ways than one. Which, by the way, that movie Swingers turns 30 next year, Chris, and we're going to be sitting here celebrating the greatness that is Swingers.
I was just going to ask you if you've seen Swingers.
I freaking... Dude, I love that movie. I quote it every day. Every single day.
Love that movie.
I love it. Twice on Sunday.
Twice on Sunday. I quote it every single time I'm on camera with Case or whoever I'm on set with.
Yeah.
Or if I'm hanging out with friends outside of work or whatever. I quote it all the time. Because we all... With everything going on in the world right now, we need that encouragement, right? So I tell someone, you're so money. You're money. And you just don't even know. It's like a big bear, man. I always tell them that, Chris. Every single person I bump into, I always tell them that. So, yeah, we are going to be celebrating Swingers' 30th anniversary next year, because 1996, respectively. So we'll be back here for our 30th anniversary. Chris, if you want to sit in on that, you're more than welcome to.
Count me in.
We'll save you a seat at the table. But... So Avengers is there as my number, and then 4 is Iron Man. Iron Man is just, Favreau made it what it is. RDJ was going through some issues at the time. This was a huge gamble at the time. No one really wanted to take a chance on him because He was a liability of all his issues with, sobriety and drug use and whatever else was going on. But they took a risk, and without risk, there can be no reward, right, fellas? And it paid off big. And then Jeff Bridges playing the bald-headed villain, which I'm not used to seeing Jeff Bridges with no hair. I'm so used to seeing him with hair because he's the dude. He's the dude, man. But he had no hair in this movie. No hair. But he still made it work because he had a thick beard going on.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, by the way. Tony doesn't know how lucky he is. It's just, come on. It's good stuff. Plus, you got AC/DC on the soundtrack in there, which I don't have a problem with that because I grew up listening to AC/DC on my radio, so I got no problem with that. Back in Black. By the way, when he says I don't want to see this up on your MySpace page, no, throw it up. I'm kidding. I'm like, dang, man, that's dating us. Ugh.
Yep.
That's dating us very bad, Chris. Because when he says MySpace, I'm like, wasn't Facebook kind of taking off at that time in 2008, 2009?
No, it was.
It sort of kind of was. Sort of kind of.
Well, here's the thing. Fox had just bought MySpace.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, Fox bought MySpace because they wanted to be able to market. There was a marketing move, and as soon as they bought it, it tanked because the only thing that kept MySpace running was Tom.
Oh shit! Excuse me. Yeah, shoot. Yeah. Wow.
Well, it went from having your top 8 and your own music and all this other stuff to having just marketing, and then and who wants that when they just want to learn how to code and play their songs and have break up with their girlfriend by deleting her off the top 8. I didn't do that. Why would I do that?
No. Nobody did. But wow. Okay, I was unaware of that, by the way. I didn't know about the purchasing history between MySpace and some of the other things. Social media.
Yeah, that's why
more specifically. Wow.
It was literally a marketing attempt from Fox.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Sorry. Thank you for the history lessons on all these things, comics, and apparently you know more about social media history than I do. This is why this is why we have Chris on these shows, because he can do dissertations on pretty much anything we throw at him, which is great. And by the way, I'm glad I'm not the only one who knows the references to Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn's masterpiece known as Swingers.
Oh yeah.
So
yes,
Chris and I know about that, and there was another person who's been on one of our other shows, Chris, that knows about it too. So I'm like, the three of us got to get together and just sit in on a panel for the 30th anniversary next year, which I cannot wait to celebrate that. By the way,
when I watched that movie, I'm like, isn't that guy from Swingers? And my buddy was like, oh, he directed it. I'm like, he directed this?
Yeah.
Like, I went back and watched Swingers because of Iron Man.
That's great. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm so glad I have it on Blu-ray and DVD now, so I can watch it on any time I want. Thank you, Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. Thank you guys. Doug Liman directed that too, and then he later went on to direct Born Identity. Who'd have thought? Nice. Doug Liman. Well done, buddy. But my number 5. Gosh, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But 4 was Iron Man. Number 5, because of a recent movie that had come out, it has been confirmed that the original was in fact canon. Even though I have been telling people that this movie's been canon for 15 years, The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is my number 5, and I'll tell you why. Because it's action-packed, it's awesome, it's criminally underrated, and the cast is fantastic, and it's a way better film. I mean, granted, a lot of people, anybody can say this at this point, but it's better than what we got in 2003 with Ang Lee's Hulk. So
yeah,
I'll give you that. Hulk dogs. Anybody?
That's not difficult, by the way.
Well, which is not difficult. Which is not a very high bar in the first place case, but still. The Incredible Hulk is a really well done origin / because in the beginning the studios were saying, oh yeah, this is a continuation of Ang Lee's Hulk, or it's like a reboot. We pick up after the events of 2003. He's on the run, he's on his own, which some people, you could say it's sort of kind of it, but at the same time it does exist on its own merits, and it's really good. And look, all the behind the scenes issues between the studio and Edward Norton aside, it's a well-made movie. It's well done, well acted. It's got action sequences when it needs to. When he hulks out at the university sequence, it's great. Mm-hmm. When he goes up against Abomination at the very end in the middle of Harlem, it's great because they reference it just a few years later in the 2012 iteration of the Avengers when Banner says, the last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem. I'm like, see, it's canon, guys. It's canon. So don't argue with me. Because some people have in the past, Chris. I'll be perfectly honest. But it's great, though. So if you haven't seen The Incredible Hulk in a while, guess what? Disney Plus wised up. They smelled the roses, smelled the coffee, and they have added it to their lineup of MCU movies. So if you ever want to go back and revisit The Incredible Hulk when it originally came out in 2008, because it came out a month later after Iron Man, by the way, check it out. It's good. It's great. And I'm an Incredible Hulk fan for a reason because of that movie. Yes, Chris, what were you going to say?
Oh, it has Tim Roth in it, and I love Tim Roth, and he was a villain. And yeah, I actually really liked that film. I was really bummed that they changed the actor and the because could you imagine him going again with RDJ on a screen?
Wow,
like
it would be something.
Yeah, just saying, one of my favorite movies he was in, American History X.
Oh yeah.
So American History X, and then dang it, I can't think of the name now. But
Fight
he's
Club?
in a movie. No.
Was it
before Fight Club? His first.
Oh,
movie.
was it Primal Fear? Was it?
Yes, thank you, Primal Fear.
Yes, with Richard Gere. Richard Gere, yeah.
And he plays two characters.
Yep.
And I think that's what people don't realize. If you're actually going to be portraying the Hulk and Bruce Banner, Batman, especially Batman and Superman, like those characters, if you have multiple identities, you have to be able to play them. And he did it in that movie, like, flawlessly. Would have loved to see him in the Avengers. I think we would have gotten a better Hulk in the end, but whatever. I like that film. I wasn't aware they actually made it 100% canon. I guess in the Shang-Chi movie they did bring an Abomination, but I guess you could just bring Abomination in. I don't know.
Well, they did also sort of make it canon in the She-Hulk television series.
I skipped that one, not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, he shows up in She-Hulk as one of the She-Hulk's cases. Like, she has to defend him or something because he's trying to get parole. I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, I thought it was fighting in Japan, but
or something. Maybe I don't know. I never watched She-Hulk. Okay, so you familiar with She-Hulk at all, or no? You didn't see it?
No, I did not see that. No.
Okay.
But I will say there are plenty of elements that came back from the Incredible Hulk in the remainder of the MCU because they did bring back Thunderbolt Ross in Civil War and
Civil War,
then the Avengers movies, and then they even recast him in the most recent Captain America
Brave
movie.
New World with Harrison Ford.
The leader, the leader,
leader too.
And actually, in the latest Captain America, as much as it wasn't that good, Liv Tyler actually appears again.
Betty Ross.
So she's in that again.
Betty Ross comes back. Yep, she shows up in Brave New World. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry. But here's another thing too. And I said this as much when we were at a convention not too long, a couple months ago. We were in Washington D.C., our nation's capital. Speaking of Captain America, on your left, we didn't jog around the monument and stuff and reenact that scene, Chris. I'm sorry, my friends and I didn't have time. But what we did do is go to this convention called Awesome Con in D.C. and we saw John Rhys Davies, but we also had the pleasure of meeting Liv Tyler.
Hell yeah.
So I walked up to Liv Tyler, and my friend and I were in line he wanted to get her autograph on a Lord of the Rings poster, which I get it. If you want him, come and claim him. I get it. She's fantastic in Fellowship of the Ring. I freaking love that movie. But I walked up to Liv and I said, Liv, I just want to tell you, you're the part you played in The Incredible Hulk. It's one of my favorite comic movies of all time. I just want to tell you did a great job. It's like, oh, thank you. No one really brings that up to me anymore. No one did. And I said, well, I'm just going to tell you flat out. I think it's underrated. I think it's a great film, and you did a wonderful. I think you did a wonderful job. So thank you for being a part of the MCU. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. So when she said that, I was like, oh, I could die now. So it was great. It was great. And Liv, we love you. We wish you nothing but success moving forward. Whether you come back for other franchises, whether you do something else with your career, whatever it is. I've always been a fan of Liv Tyler, man. I mean, when she shows up in Fellowship of the Ring, it's kind of hard to miss, Case. I'm just saying. But when she showed up in Incredible Hulk, I'm like, dang, they cast this movie well, man. I'm just saying. Betty Ross is quite beautiful. I will not lie about that. Edward Norton, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when you were filming your scenes between you and Liv Tyler. My goodness gracious. I'll admit it. But yeah, I saw Liv Tyler, guys. I know. It's cuckoo.
I loved her in Armageddon.
But
Armageddon.
Well, there is that too. But here's the thing: I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. I'm sorry to say, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't know. Case, are you an Armageddon fan or not so much?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it, okay?
Well,
but
you know what the funny thing is? We had like a phase a couple of years ago where we wanted to see some like classic disaster movies.
Oh yeah.
And
what was it?
I don't know exactly which ones we actually went through, but I remember at one point we got to 2012 and we saw that it was 2.5 hours, and then we saw that Armageddon was also really long. We're like, I'm kind of burnt out on the very, very long disaster movies, because Titanic is also in there, and that's 3 hours 15 minutes. It's like,
3:15.
Why do these need to be so long? Can we just have a nice, shorter than 2 hour disaster movie? You can get the point across.
I mean, if you want a short disaster movie, just go back to 2006's Poseidon with Kurt Russell and Josh Lucas and Richard Dreyfuss. That's an hour and 35 minutes, man. I'm dead serious. And I've seen that movie 30 times, Chris.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. Listen. I could be in the minority on this, but I'm just saying, like, I like Poseidon. I like the movie. I know it's a remake of the original with Gene Hackman. By the way, Gene Hackman, R.I.P. But still, I liked it. I mean, the first 3 minutes, that opening shot at the time, it was the most expensive visual effects shot in filmmaking at that point. And I thought they did a very good job. And plus, not many people know this, but here's a fun fact for you guys about Poseidon 2006. It was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars that year. So there's that.
It lost to Dead Man's Chest, I believe.
Dead Man's Chest was it that same year? Was it 06?
Yeah,
I think it was. Okay, all right, cool. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not a Dead Man's Chest fan, to be perfectly honest with you, because # the sequels of Pirates of the Caribbean never happened for me, Chris. But you know, they didn't happen, man, because Black Pearl is so perfect. You can't top that. Nothing can top.
I'm not going
that.
to disagree with you. I fell asleep after at like the third or fourth one I was watching. Yeah, I just wasn't into it.
Third one was at World's End, if I remember correctly. Did you fall asleep during World's End, Chris?
That's the one.
Okay, he fell asleep, which is fine.
Yep, I went in excited. Everyone woke me up at the end, and I was like, oh, I was that bored.
I was like, wow, this franchise really burned out pretty quickly for me, didn't it, Chris?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Like, just, I don't know. Something about the storylines really didn't keep me interested. But I did enjoy Armageddon because I like Bruce Willis, and I like the idea of, you know, all the chaos on an asteroid. And
he's got space dementia.
Yeah, just and it had Aerosmith on the soundtrack, and at the time I was a little kid, I loved Aerosmith.
Don't want to miss a thing. Yeah.
So when that movie came out, I lived in Connecticut. I was in I want to say middle school or early high school,
really?
And a friend of mine's older sister worked in the movie theater, so we would go in every Friday, and we had nothing to do. You know, this is before social media and all this other stuff that we had.
Nice.
And I would just go and I would make my rounds to all the movies, and I probably saw Armageddon 15, 20 times.
What?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yep, because there was sometimes she'd have to babysit us. So we would just sit in the theater and watch the same movie. And, you know, think about this. Little kids can watch the same thing over and over again. And I forget that when I was a little kid, that's what I would do. Oh, I like this movie. I'm going to continue to watch it 100 times. So, yeah.
Wow.
Definitely saw Armageddon to nauseum. I put it on now, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I remember every one of these scenes. Like, every single one of them.
Maybe a silly question, but do you think we got hazard pay out of this?
And at the time I thought Ben Affleck was pretty cool. So
yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, he's I mean, every celebrity in Hollywood has had bumps in the road, right? You know, J-Lo this, Jennifer that happened, you know, whatever.
I mean, hey, if you just saw
really
The
happened,
Accountant 2,
right? You know, I mean, that happened.
Was pretty sick, just saying.
You know, he had creative differences with the studio when he was trying to make his own Batman movie 10 years ago. So he's had a rough road, man. But
I was disappointed in that, considering he has his own Batcave. And
oh my God, I wanted to see his own Batman movie so bad.
Like, I think that's why I won't rate him as a Batman, because we really didn't get a proper Batman film from him.
Yeah. Although I did like his iteration of what at times I did like his iteration of what especially the warehouse scene. That's good. I mean, the warehouse scene's good, right? I mean, him cracking bones
and branding people. I mean,
branding people in the first half of the movie, right? I mean, that's not bad.
The worst thing that happened to him was allowing other people to write for him.
Yeah,
you know, because Ben Affleck is I mean, he's a really good director. He's a really good actor, and then you give him the Martha scene, and you know, as much as I like Cavill and as much as I like Ben Affleck, nothing will ever save that scene. You know, two great actors in a scene where I'm like sitting there going, "Oh my God, why?"
Amy Adams comes in at the end. It's his mother's name.
Look, this is what you get when Chris Terrio writes your script.
This is what you get when Terrio writes the script, Case.
Out of all the coolness in that film, it was like. Also, I absolutely hated Lex Luthor in that film.
Oh, he was terrible. He was so miscast and horribly.
Yeah.
The whole listen, I'm a diehard Superman fan, and the fact that they casted Mark Zuckerberg as Luthor, and he's acting like a 5-year-old brat, I'm just like, this is the worst casting, acting, and iteration of Lex Luthor that I've seen a lot of Luthors over my career. I've seen a lot of Luthors come and go. The greats like Gene Hackman's, the Clancy Browns on Superman and Justice League, the great, I mean, honestly, if they were going to cast anybody and they had a better writer for the film at the
Michael
time,
Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum.
Rosie in my favorite show of all time, Smallville, is a 10 times better Lex Luthor than Eisenberg was. And here's another thing for you too. If they had a better writer and material was placed in the right places, I think Billy Zane would have been a good Luthor. I think Billy Zane would have been a good Lex Luthor, to be perfectly honest with you.
100 actors that would have been better than the Riddler version that we got.
True.
Dude could have been the Riddler, and but that film got, for all of its greatness, it got destroyed on so many
behind the scenes.
I hate, look at us getting Deathstroke at the end. It pisses me off. We never got the Deathstroke that we wanted because of that film.
Mike Manganiello was Deathstroke.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Joe
Manganiello. Sorry.
Yeah, him and Ben Affleck were working on a Batman film, and
that would have been nice.
I saw some of the they released some preliminary stuff for it, and I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be sick."
I'm in.
And then the studio dropped it, and I was just pissed.
We were all pissed. Trust me, I was right there with you, man. I was like, dude, I want to see his own Batman movie and put his own spin on it because Affleck can do it. He's made so many movies and that have gotten Oscar buzz or Oscar awards at the time. It's like just let him have creative freedom, man.
Argo won Best Picture.
Twilight.
Yeah, Argo won Best Picture.
Yeah. And then we get Twilight Batman, who can't even move a wooden table. Or whatever.
Well, that's granted, that's a different iteration, different director, different circumstances, and also it's Batman Year One, which is what that movie really was. Which I didn't mind that Pattinson one. I'm hoping we get the Batman 2 at some point, even though it's been delayed another 5 years, whatever the frack it is.
It's been in production hell, but it is coming.
Like 10 years.
They're making it.
It's just coming along very slowly, Case.
We'll see.
If it ever comes to fruition, I'll be there because I like the Batman. I liked it. But anyway, those are my top 5 when it comes to MCU. The Incredible Hulk was, what was it, number 5? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
If you haven't seen it yet, it's on streaming. You can find it. And yes, I own it on Blu-ray and DVD because when Universal was re-releasing movies in pulp, what do you call them? What do you call those things? The steel books. So they have these steel books that have like exclusive art on them, Chris. I have the Incredible Hulk one, and I also have Jurassic Park with the exclusive artwork that they use for the steel book. So I do have 2 of Universal best films, which includes Jurassic Park and the Incredible Hulk. So booyah, I own both of them, man. All right, good stuff. I own them on multiple formats. But those are our top 5 lists when it comes to the MCU top 5 favorite movies. If you have any movies that you want to share with us in the comments, let us know. By the way, Brennan Marr, it says, hello there. Wrong franchise, but we respect you saying hello there. Anyway, Brennan, it's good to see you. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods. Don't forget to like and share this with your friends. And if you're watching us live on the replay, thank you so much for doing that. With that being said, I do have a list that I would like to share with everybody here. If I could, Ken, share with me his top, his top 5 favorite MCU movies. So we're going to go ahead and bring that up for you right now. I have it here on my other device, which is not my computer. It's called a phone. So give me a moment here while we're doing this. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Ken, where is it? Here it is. All right. So sorry I couldn't make it, fellas, but here is my top 5, and it goes as follows. Number 1, The Avengers 2012. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Wow.
Oh.
I know. This is, believe me when I tell you, I'm a bit shocked there. But number 3, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Great pick. Okay. We love you. Number 4, Spider-Man: Homecoming with Tom Holland, if I remember correctly.
Really good movie.
And then number 5 is Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Doctor Strange.
Oh, nice.
Doctor Strange is his number 5 when it comes to MCU. So there you go. Those are his topics. So Ken, this is what I will say, and then I'll turn things over to Chris and Case. Avengers is a good pick. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 I didn't even bother with because I didn't really like the first one. Sorry. Captain America: Winter Soldier, it's my numero uno. Spider-Man: Homecoming, it's fine, but I'm sorry, I'm a purist. I prefer OG Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 1 and 2. I'm a purist. I'm OG Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Tom Holland, you're good in ensemble movies like Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame, but your own films, I'm sorry, not happening. Not for me anyway. Not for me. And then Doctor Strange, I like that movie. It may not be in my top 5, but it would be somewhere in my top 15 when it comes to MCU movies altogether, right? I think top 15, maybe top 10, but probably more so top 15. But anyway, Chris, thoughts on Ken's top 5 list?
I mean, yeah, I like the Spider-Man, but to me, any of those Sony films just aren't MCU to me. Mm-hmm. Just being real, because to me they're not. But I'm an OG Spider-Man fan like you. I think No Way Home was awesome because it brought in when Tobey Maguire came in, everyone was just losing their minds.
Yep.
And I am a huge fan of the Dormammu scene. Like I said, there's something about that film I really enjoyed. Maybe it's because there's a Lamborghini in it, and I love Lamborghinis. But Guardians 2 really gets me because he had some really good taste, and that just was weird. Now Guardians 2 has its moments, but overall, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. Case, any thoughts on Ken's top 5 list there?
It's interesting. I don't want to knock anyone down for having an opinion, but I definitely disagree with some of those. I already expressed my issues with Guardians 2, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he had Avengers, which is a solid pick. Avengers is a great movie, and it would be in my top 5 if it wasn't for a couple of others. But it's right outside it. Winter Soldier is great, and Doctor Strange is great. Honestly, a really fun movie, and I didn't really talk about that earlier. What was the other one? The fifth?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh yeah, Homecoming. Yeah,
Spider-Man Homecoming was his number 4, I believe.
The thing is that I thought the introduction of Spider-Man into the MCU was very well done in Civil War, and then Homecoming was just a very, very safe movie that just did exactly what you would expect it to do, which was fine. I enjoy it. I just didn't think it did anything particularly interesting. And as you guys, I'm a big fan of the Tobey Maguire movies as well. So I'm like, Homecoming is all right. Far From Home is all right. The best one of the 3, I think, is Far From Home. No Way Home, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, No Way Home.
Because it brought Andrew, Toby, and also the classic villains with played by Defoe and Molina. They actually came back to reprise the role.
Yep.
I thought that was by far the best one of the 3. But there is definitely an argument you can make that it might not be entirely MCU. It's more so a Spider-Man movie, and that's also how I view that. So,
like Deadpool
movie, really enjoy it. Not in my top 5. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I get. What were you gonna say, Chris? You said something about
kind of like how Deadpool to me.
Deadpool,
I
Wolverine.
can't consider that an MCU movie, even though it's put in, it's connected and all that. It's just like something they absorbed, and they have to make do with that. But I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm a huge Wolverine fan. But I just can't count any of those films. I don't know why. I always look at like the core MCU. That's just, and I forgot to add like the first Avengers movie. You had said like the experience of going to that film.
Yeah.
To me,
movie theater,
when I went, we had people sitting on the floor.
Really?
Watching that film.
Yeah. So it was like sitting room or standing room only at one point.
So did you ever see
what's up?
There was a horror film that came out a long time ago. It was the first shaky
Oh, Paranormal Activity. Or no, was it Blair Witch?
No. Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch Project. I'm sorry.
When we went to see Blair Witch Project, again, this is dating me.
Okay.
People would sit on the. They would oversell tickets, and people were sitting on the floor. I hadn't experienced anything like that until Avengers. The theater oversold tickets, and there were people sitting on the floor for Avengers, and me and my friends in our row, we had people literally sitting on the floor next to us. And so what we do is we would just switch halfway through the film. One of us would sit on the floor and let that person sit in the seat. We didn't know them, but it was the nice thing to do. And like the entire time, we didn't know these people. We were enjoying the film with them. And so Avengers is definitely up there for me just because of that experience and seeing them all on film, like Iron Man fighting, like the whole fighting scene when they get on the screen together. I thought that was really well done. I don't know why I forgot in my top 5, but I will keep my top 5 the way it is. But yeah, the first Avengers for MCU, I mean, really set a tone. And I think as far as like comic book movies really changed the game for us moving forward. So definitely needs to be up there. I'm not going to change my top 5 though, because I still like the Dormammu scene.
I mean, yeah, who does? And by the way, no one has brought this up yet about Doctor Strange, which I do like the movie. But one of the things I do like about it Rachel McAdams, man.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, that woman has been acting for how many years? Like, so long. And it seems like in every film or every other film that she's in, she ups her game a little bit. So she's able to bring but she also knows how to bring the drama, not just the comedy. Because she does have a few little beats between her and Strange in the beginning part of the movie. And then when she's trying to comfort him after he loses the ability to use his hands, she's like, look, you can still do like stuff that you want to do. You just got to think about it doing it in a different way. And Strange is like not giving her the time of day, and he's blowing her off and be like, get away from me. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Like, I'm so depressed. I don't have my ability. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts. It hurts him. He was in pain. But Rachel McAdams, what do you want? What do you want? You know, just if you remember that scene from that movie she's well known for. I'm sorry.
What movie was that from? I can't.
It was Notebook. It was Notebook.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, if you don't know what the Notebook is, it's like, come on, man.
If you have,
it's one of her most well-known movies of all time. So I'm just saying. And Rachel, if you're listening and watching this right now, we love you to this day, and we wish you nothing but success moving forward. Because listen, she could do something like romance with Notebook. She could do something with comic book stuff, whether it's the Doctor Strange movie or movies or whatever. I don't even know. She wasn't in Multiverse of Madness, was she? No.
Yeah, she was.
Well, she was in there. Okay, I wasn't sure if they brought her back or not. I'm sorry. All right, so you're in that. And then you do what was it? The Time Traveler's Wife. She wasn't in True Detective at one point. Yes, she was. She was in True Detective season 2, I think it was. Whatever. So there was that. So she could do drama. She could do it all. That's what I'm trying to say. Rachel McAdams, we love you.
Why are you not mentioning her most iconic role, Regina George in Mean Girls?
Oh,
she has a point.
I know, and it's a great movie too. And by the way, there's been 30 Mean Girls movies now, which is sad. But the original, nothing's going to top the original. All right, no. Because they made a made-for-TV movie on ABC Family called Mean Girls 2. Then they remade/rebooted it with Mean Girls 2024, 2020, whatever it was, which was based on the Broadway musical of the same name. And I'm just like, why do we have to remake this? Why? I don't get it. I don't know.
You're also forgetting another
iconic one.
Wedding Crashers. Come on.
Oh, dude, the Cleary sisters. That's right. So is it just about the money? Well, no. We take clothes and we're made from the wool of sheep. And what do you call it? Holy shirts and pants. Holy shirts and pants. I know it's a working title. I know it sounds a bit corny right now, but we'll fix that. That sounds like a wonderful idea. I'm going to mention something to the Commerce Secretary. Sorry, that's a scene from the. If you haven't seen Wedding Crashers, what was the two movies? So Mean Girls and Wedding Crashers. Have you even seen those comedies in a while, folks? Feel free to revisit them because Rachel McAdams does a great job in both. And by the way, I just learned this the other day, Chris. Rachel McAdams was 8 years older than Lindsay Lohan when they were filming Mean Girls.
Yeah,
interesting.
Which is crazy. To be fair, you can see it, but she still pulls off the
18, 17, 60, whatever spoiled brat routine. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. She was 8 years older than Lindsay Lohan. That's just astounding to me. But anyway, you don't look at none of you fine ladies look at over 25. Hashtag those are the facts. King B Jordan says hashtag and we quote hashtag Excelsior. There you go. Stan Lee quotes all around. King B Jordan goes on to say hashtag Phase 5 within 2025 MCU life. Okay, so clearly you're a fan of this property. We got you. And then he says all of you are hashtag the three of you.
I'll take it.
Oh boy, King B Johnson, thank you for your thoughts and comments in the chat. My goodness gracious, all of you are hashtag. So what does that make me? Am I Lucky Day? Am I Ned Niederlander? Am I Dusty Bottoms? Which one am I? We need to figure out who's who here, fellas. I don't know who's playing which character, but we'll have to figure that out.
Wait for the comments to vote on.
Yeah, let us know. Who would you cast? Who is Chris going to be playing in the reboot of Three Amigos? Who am I playing in this reboot? And then who is Case going to play? What character is he going to portray? I want to know. Like, someone needs to cast us. We got to figure this out, Case. So let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Because, my goodness, we would have a plethora of thoughts on that subject matter. Booyah! There you go. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our panelists. Also, thank you to Ken LaSalle for the original idea, the man behind this show. And thank you for sharing with us your top 5. Even though you couldn't be here with us physically, Ken, we wish you the best. Get well soon, brother. We miss you. And we look forward to having you on another presentation for And I Quote channel. We really appreciate you, man. Chris, if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible things you're doing over there, or if they want to know about your misadventures hanging out with the Avengers or Team Shield over there in the theme parks of the great state of Florida, Sunshine State, where can they follow you? And those are the things you love so much, also known as comic books.
Instagram at Homebrewed Comics. We actually have a Kickstarter right now for Bigfoot Knows Karate going on. So go to homebrewedcomics.com, check that out. And it has links to all my social media there too.
Fabulous. Congratulations to you and the team over there at Homebrew Comics and the Kickstarters. Wish you the best of everything moving forward. Enjoy your family get-togethers in the great state of Florida. Case, my man, the myth, the legend, the man behind all these overlays and thumbnails and backgrounds. If someone wants to know more about you or your editing or graphic design skills, where can they follow you?
On my YouTube channel, The Star Wars Guy, where usually I just talk Star Wars, but in this case I made a little bit of an exception, I suppose. But yeah, I am currently building some Legos. You can see the point of the Star Destroyer over there. I'm going to actually drop a video tomorrow about my progress of this week. Look out for that because I'm building a big Lego mock, which is very cool, and I'm very excited for it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on my channel. If you're a fan of Star Wars, come check me out.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. Thank you, Case. You're the man. Thank you for the backgrounds and overlays, everything you've done for this channel, and everything you're going to be doing for it moving forward. Thank you, kind sir. Links to where you can follow Case, Chris, and myself are located in the description below. So check those out. Check out the Kickstarter for Bigfoot Knows Karate, because if you thought the Karate Kid was something, you haven't seen anything yet. Bigfoot Knows Karate. Wax on, wax off. Miyagi-san. Anyway, Daniel-san. Sorry, I had to throw it out there, Chris. But my name is Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel because I'm a Karate Kid and a Cobra Kai fan because hashtag Cobra Kai never dies, Chris. My name is Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media. Simply at, where am I pointing to? Where is it, Kate? Help me out here. There it is. Anti-Quote Channel. Follow us across all forms of social media. There, we got some great things coming your way. We got great shows coming up every single Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And I quote, where we interview some of the best creators all over the world. Chris Saloff and Dan Price of Homebrew Comics have been on the show with us recently, so check out those episodes on our YouTube channel. They're there. You can listen, you can watch, however you want to go about that. No problem at all. Great things coming your way. Movie watch-alongs are going to continue on until the end of our days. We got a great month of June plan. We got 30 years of Batman Forever, 20 years of Batman Begins, and 50 years of Jaws in the month of June planned. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Tell me about it. We're going to need a much bigger boat and a much bigger movie theater case. We're going to need a bigger boat. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you tune in and join us. And we're also on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Once we do, we'll throw a great big live stream that will include special giveaways that you, the person who is watching and listening to this right now, are going to be eligible to win. Also, we got merch. We got hoodies. We got shirts. We got stickers, coffee mugs, all kinds of great things. Links are in my link tree. You can find that in the description below or on our social media channels. So make sure you check those out. With that being said, thank you so much for being a part of this special presentation where we rank our top 5 favorite MCU movies. Look forward to seeing what's going to happen with the comic book movie genre moving forward because, you know, you can't do it by yourself. You got to put a team together. So what if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we? Well, I could tell you, but it's a secret. We got to keep it a secret for a while. But in that case, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. Remember, life is better when celebrating the properties you love most. And remember one more thing. Embrace the nerd within you. Avengers, assemble.
You become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Now available on Blu-ray and DVD.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, I can fly.
I just said, wow, man, what a cool suit, what a great crew, what a blast.
We wanted to have more fun and have more action and really deliver the Hulk that we thought audiences wanted to see.
Oh, it's good to be back.
As soon as I heard that there was a possible part, I was desperate to be a part of it.
I want one.
No.
I feel incredibly excited to be sort of part of it.
It was such an extraordinary project.
Please make it a challenge for me.
Don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
He's everything that I wish I could be as a man. You know, he's good for the sake of good.
What made you so special? Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
What we're doing here is completely unprecedented. Marvel is taking the characters and bringing them all together in a team franchise movie experience, which really has never been done before.
And for the first time ever, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 1, Avengers Assembled Limited Edition Collection. Available now at participating retailers and at AvengersAssembled.com.